lot of new stuff got announced this week, a lot of new stuff, and we're going to cover all of it. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and this is Weekly Heat. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet, and also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at RealSethFowler. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into it. Starting things off, we've got a first look at a brand new colorway on the upcoming Kyrie 7. This colorway has been dubbed the Preheat colorway and comes in primarily black, white, and teal makeup. As far as the Kyrie 7 goes, it really looks like a mashup of a lot of the previous Kyrie sneakers, which I think is a good thing. They're taking all the best parts of those shoes and turning them into something that might not look that exciting, but is actually probably a really great performer on court. One major change on the Kyrie 7 from previous Kyries is that it looks like they're actually getting rid of the strap in favor of a new midfoot lacing system that kind of looks like a strap from the side, but is actually just two elongated eyelets. Personally, I'm not in love with the silhouette. I feel like it's a little bit too bulky for me, at least visually, but I'm sure it's a beast on court, and that's the most important thing. There's no official release date for the Kyrie 7 silhouette yet, but expected to drop in the very near future. Next up, we've got a first look courtesy of Sold by JC of the upcoming Foot Locker Pensole New Balance 327. So as you've probably gathered, this shoe is kind of a three-way collaboration between Foot Locker, Pensole, and New Balance. And the way I think this collaboration is working is that New Balance is just providing the shoe and the manufacturing, Foot Locker is providing all the retailers, like it's probably going to be a Foot Locker exclusive, and some designers at Pensole, which is a sneaker design school or academy, are providing the overall colorway of the sneaker. And to be honest with you, I think this is one of the hottest 327 colorways ever. I think it beats out the Casablancas, I think it beats out the standard 327s, well it obviously beats out the standard 327s, and I also think it beats out the Concepts 327. It's just such a unique look, and that neon vibe is so dope. The Pensole Foot Locker 327 comes with a dark navy base, accented by sort of a teal blue on the toe, and a bright pink on the heel. But my favorite detail is the treatment of the New Balance logo. I love the way they switched out the end for these sort of colorful squiggly lines. I've never seen anything done like that before, at least not on this silhouette. I think it looks awesome. But the big selling point for me, and I think a lot of people, is the colorway. It's so bright, it's so crazy, and it's on such a wearable silhouette. There's no release date as of yet on the sneaker, but stay tuned because I bet you it'll be releasing in the next couple months. Next up is some kind of disappointing news about the re-release of the Union LA Air Jordan 4s. As you probably already know, Union LA dropped all 4 of their collaboration silhouettes with Jordan Brand on their website about a month ago. And up until recently, it looked like 3 out of those 4 colorways would be re-releasing through the Sneakers app on September 30th. But it looks like they've been pushed back to October 16th. So if you're excited about grabbing a pair of these, or at least getting a second chance to try and grab a pair of these, it looks like you're gonna have to wait at least another 3 weeks. Sucks, I know, but it is what it is. I don't know why they pushed it back, but it's just what happens sometimes. After that, we finally got the release date for the long-rumored Off-White Nike Rubber Dunk. The Off-White Nike Rubber Dunk comes in 3 different colorways, a UNC, a black and green, and a yellow colorway, and all 3 are pretty unique looking sneakers. The Off-White Nike Rubber Dunk is apparently a mashup of the extremely popular Nike Dunk and the Pegasus line, which I never would have expected. Its aesthetic is obviously heavily inspired by sneakers and colorways from the 90s and early 2000s. The Rubber Dunk comes with some really interesting and kind of crazy paneling along the upper, and of course those signature off-white details like the paragraph on the medial side and that Nike off-white zip tie. It's unique to say the least, and it's definitely one of those sneakers that's going to be very polarizing when it finally releases. Even though the silhouettes are all the same, the colorways look wildly different from each other, and I think my favorite out of the 3 is probably the UNC metallic silver colorway. Even though the upper of this silhouette is very different than really anything that we've seen over the last couple years, the midsole and outsole of the shoe remain relatively true to the original Dunk. The only major difference is that they all feature an exposed air unit. The Off-White Nike Rubber Dunk is a super unique and interesting shoe, and one that I would definitely be going for if it released in the United States, which it's not. According to Sneaker News, the University Blue colorway of the Rubber Dunk set is exclusive to Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. I'm not sure about the other colorways. I would expect that at least one of them would release in the United States, but I really have no idea. And it sucks because the University Blue, in my opinion, is the best colorway. Regardless, if you want to go for any of these colorways, they all should be releasing on October 1st. After that, we've got a first look at a very interesting Travis Scott 1 high sample. This image is a mock-up by Soul Debrief on Instagram, but it looks like this shoe is kind of a reverse Mocha Air Jordan 1. And the way that we got a first look at this shoe is actually through Travis Scott's social media when he was wearing it in an Instagram story or maybe a Snapchat, I'm not sure. But I've got to say, it would be really good to see another Travis Scott Air Jordan 1, especially one that looks like this. This is a solid looking sneaker. The shoe comes in a primarily white upper that's separated by white suede on the toe and white leather on the midfoot, and the heel and the toe of the shoe come in brown suede, similar to what we had on the original Travis Scott 1s. Of course, you've still got the backwards Nike swoosh in black leather, and you've also got the ballistic nylon around the heel of the shoe, which most definitely still has a stash pocket in it, except this time around it comes in more of a cream color than a black. I have no idea if this shoe will actually release one day, but I wouldn't be surprised either way, and if it does, I'm definitely going for it. Next up, we've got a possible release date for the upcoming Off-White Sale Air Jordan 5s. The first Off-White Air Jordan 5s released during All-Star Weekend this year before the pandemic happened, and as of right now are still one of the most popular collaborations this year. And while I love that colorway because it's really reminiscent of the metallic Air Jordan 5s, this white and red colorway just looks so clean. The shoe comes in what seems to be a primarily white mesh upper, which is the same exact material used on the first collaboration, and like the original collaboration, the rubber and plastic details seem to be artificially aged a little bit. Not as yellow as they are in the original, but more of a cream sail color. And as I'm sure you've already seen, the accent color on this shoe is a bright red, which I think goes really well with that white. And even though this shoe has been leaked since even before the original Off-White 5s came out, it looks like we finally have a release date, which is October 24th, 2020. Now, as with most leaked release dates, this one has not yet been confirmed, but I really wouldn't be surprised if it does in fact turn out being true. Next up, we've got some really juicy information from Z Sneakerhead Z, and that's that there might be an upcoming Air Jordan 1 Shatter Backboard 4.0. Now, based on the information and mock-up that he provided, it looks like this shoe will be releasing in a very similar color scheme to the original Shatter Backboards, which I think will make a lot of people happy, except rather than releasing with sail-colored leather, it's releasing with white. Now, while this shoe isn't a retro of the original Shatter Backboards, which only released about 5 years ago, it is the closest we'll probably get. And for a lot of people who don't want to shell out like $1,500 and possibly $2,000 by the time the shoe releases for the original, I think this is a really great option. Now, I do think it's important to take this news with a grain of salt because I'm sure a lot of you guys remembered what happened with the Shatter Backboard 3.0s. When those leaks first came out, it looked like the shoe was just going to be a standard leather Air Jordan 1 and it just had excellent black and orange color blocking. But as we got closer to release, we realized that Jordan Brand decided to pull a fast one and give us crinkled patent leather. I don't know where the hell that came from, but it did, and the shoe still sold out, so now they realize they can do that same thing again. So I wouldn't be surprised if they pull something weird with this shoe. You never know, they might make the tongue of the shoe like some weird rubber material. I don't know what they're going to do, but they always find a way to ruin like dope colorways just because they want to make it so that in the future, if they release that colorway as just a standard color, people will still buy it. Maybe them doing that is just a conspiracy theory, but I don't think so. Regardless, it does look like there's a Shatter Backboard 4.0 in the works for 2021. Continuing on, it looks like we've got a very interesting Off-White Nike collaboration on the Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent Flyknit. I guess I shouldn't be surprised because they've done running collaborations before, but this one just seems really out of left field. According to Pirates, there are 3 different colorways of this shoe releasing: a black and green, which is pictured here, a solar red and white, and a racer blue and pink colorway. For me, the reason this collaboration is so interesting is because it's a brand new silhouette that Nike just released. They're not reinventing a classic like they usually do, and to be fair, they've done something like this before, but it's just interesting that they chose this silhouette rather than all the other silhouettes that they could have pulled from. That said though, the shoe is mad comfy, and I bet this will be one of the most comfortable Off-White sneakers yet. Color blocking wise, it does seem a little bit dull. It seems like all one color with a green outsole and a really interesting drawn on Nike swoosh that has like very cool like marker lines on it. I actually kind of like that detail a lot. Oh, and you can't forget the racing spikes on the outsole, which I hate for lifestyle wear. Why do they always add those on these shoes? But it is what it is. But as of right now, that's all that there really is to know about this sneaker. No one really knows exactly when it's releasing. It's rumored that it will come out in the fall, but there's really no way to know for sure. Next up, Jordan Brand officially announced their entire Jordan Brand holiday lineup. I've actually done a full extensive video covering all of the shoes that were announced, so if you guys want to check that out, there'll be a link at the top of the screen and also a link in the description below. So rather than go over all the shoes in this video, I'm just going to give you guys a really quick highlighted look at some of the shoes that I like in particular. The first is the Air Jordan 5 What The, which I've got to be honest, I'm in love with. This shoe features design elements from a ton of different classic Air Jordan 5s, some of which are the Raging Bulls, the Tokyos, which are a personal favorite, the Green Beans, the Army Olives, I think they're called, and also the Bel Air 5s. And the crazy part is there are even more elements drawn from other colorways which I didn't mention, but there's sort of little details that you'll find when you actually have a chance to look at the shoe. But what I love most about this sneaker is that it's the first true What The shoe we've had in years. We've had What The 4s, and we did have sort of a top 3-5, but both of those were kind of just multicolor colorways of those sneakers and not actually a true What The that took the crazy elements from the old sneakers and put them onto this shoe, like embroidery and color blocking and patterns and things like that. They were just kind of like a a white, black, blue, and red Air Jordan 4 or like a black and red Air Jordan 5. It wasn't it. This one though is it. And while it's not going to be the easiest shoe to rock overall, it's a classic sneaker, it's a collector's dream, and also it's going to be stupid limited, so very difficult to get. After that is the Air Jordan 4 Sashiko, which is from the Tokyo capsule and features really great denim paneling on the upper. Not only that, it also has a really cool patchwork upper which features red panels and white panels, as well as really nice patterns and textures that you find all over the top of the shoe. The only downside of this sneaker is that it's not going to be available in the United States, which really bums me out. Another notable release is the black and purple Air Jordan 3s, which I originally thought was going to be a Toronto colorway, but turns out it's not even releasing in the Americas, so it's probably not. The shoe comes in a black leather upper with elephant print on the toe and on the heel, and it's accented by this really bright purple on the midsole and on the sock liner. And again, it just really sucks that this shoe is a regional exclusive and not something that everyone can get. After that is a shoe that a lot of people are looking forward to, and that's the dark Mocha Air Jordan 1s. After that is a shoe that a lot of people are looking forward to, and that's the dark Mocha Air Jordan 1s. The color blocking on this shoe is very similar to the black toe ones, except instead of having red on the heel, you've got brown suede. It's such a refined Air Jordan 1 colorway, and I'm surprised they haven't done something like this before. I'm sure it was inspired by the Travis Scott ones, let's be honest, but I think it's a shoe that should have dropped years ago. And then the last 2020 holiday release that I'm going to cover is the Air Jordan 4 Fire Red that's returning on Black Friday. It's been a minute since we've last had a retro of this shoe, and it looks incredible. It's a beautiful looking sneaker. Apparently this retro is going to be as true to the OG cut as possible. In fact, they're even using the OG box. Of course, you've got the red Nike Air on the heel, and you've got the original hang tag, and overall it's just one of the best 4s that's ever dropped, so I'm really excited to have another chance to grab a pair this year. But then moving on to the last of our big stories for the day, we've got the official release information for the Air Jordan 35. The Air Jordan 35 was officially announced yesterday at a digital conference, and from what I can tell, it seems a lot like the Air Jordan 34 with some minor upgrades. Now, unfortunately, I don't have an early pair of these sneakers to review for you guys, but hopefully I can grab a pair on release day and give you guys my full thoughts. A few notable details on the shoe are the increased padding around the upper, the Flyknit around the Eclipse Plate 2.0, oh, and the Eclipse Plate 2.0. That's also a pretty big deal. There are a few minor changes to the cushioning, but it's nothing that crazy, and overall it just seems like a new and improved Air Jordan 34. That said, visually, I definitely prefer the way that this shoe looks over the Air Jordan 34, and some of these colorways, like the bread colorway, are just total fire. The first Jordan 35 colorway to release is the Center of Gravity colorway, which is releasing in China on September 27th, and throughout the rest of the world on October 17th. And even though I probably wouldn't wear this shoe for lifestyle, I think it's a great looking performance basketball sneaker, and I'm excited to try it out on court. But that pretty much wraps up Weekly Heat for this week. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on all of the stories that we covered in today's video, so let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.